This was meant to be a journey through a land of miracles and faith, a script about the wonders of Israel and Palestine, walking in the footsteps of saviors and kings. But this isn't the script I planned to write. Reality has violently intervened, and to ignore the nightmare unfolding just beyond the camera's lens wouldn't just be a disservice. It would be a lie. This isn't just a travel vlog. This is an attempt to bear witness. Here, amid the awe of Jerusalem's golden dome, its sacred wall, and its ringing church bells, the air is thick with a brutal, ongoing present. A fragile ceasefire which began on January 19th was obliterated on March 18, 2025, when Israel launched Operation Might and Sword, an assault that reignited the conflict. The question is no longer about past wonders, but present horrors. How do you film a travel documentary when on August 22nd, the United Nations confirmed a man-made famine was raging just miles away? Or when, on September 16th, its top investigators delivered a conclusion that the State of Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinians in Gaza? This is the script we must now follow. Not one of simple wonders, but of a terrible, complex truth. There is no city on earth like Jerusalem. To walk its streets is to move through layers of time, a living museum to faith, conquest, and devotion. Here in the old city, you can get lost for days in the labyrinth of narrow alleys, the air scented with incense, spices, and fresh bread. You can feel the cool stone of the Via Dolorosa, tracing the path of Christ's final journey, and emerge into the solemn grandeur of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, shared and contested by different Christian denominations, a microcosm of the city itself. A few steps away, the energy shifts. The air fills with the murmur of prayer at the Western Wall, the last remnant of the Second Temple, the most sacred site in Judaism. Men and women, separated by a partition, press their hands and foreheads against the colossal stones, tucking folded notes filled with hopes and pleas into ancient crevices. There's a power here that's undeniable, a deep resonant frequency of centuries of longing. And then you look up. Above the wall, the golden dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque command the skyline. This is the Haram al-Sharif, the noble sanctuary, the third holiest site in Islam. From here, it's believed the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. The geometric beauty of the tiles, the serene plaza, it feels like a world apart. 3 worlds, 3 faiths, pressed into less than a single square kilometer. It's a miracle of coexistence and a constant flashpoint of conflict. For generations, this has been Jerusalem's story. But today, that story feels different. The miracle feels strained, the flashpoint closer to an open flame. The soldiers at Damascus Gate are more numerous, their expressions more grim. Conversations in the cafes of the Muslim quarter are quieter, laced with anxiety. The optimism in the Jewish quarter feels more defiant, more brittle. The conflict in Gaza, which feels a world away in these ancient alleys, is, in fact, everywhere. It's in the eyes of the Palestinian shopkeeper who tells me his cousin's home in Khan Yunis was destroyed. It's in the voice of the young Israeli soldier who speaks of his friends fighting on the ground, having retaken the Netzarim corridor earlier in the year. It's in the news alerts pinging on everyone's phones, reporting on near-daily settler violence in the West Bank, attacks on Palestinian vehicles, and the demolition of homes. On the very day I'm filming this, reports came in of 2 Palestinian teenagers killed in separate incidents during Israeli raids in the West Bank. To be in Jerusalem is to feel the city holding its breath. The shared history is undeniable, but the present is violently fractured. This idea of Jerusalem as a meeting point feels less like harmony and more like a tectonic collision. The prayers that rise from the Western Wall, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque are for peace, redemption, and protection. But they travel up into the same sky, a sky clouded by the smoke of a war that has produced, according to UN experts, evidence of the crime of crimes. The wonder of Jerusalem is that life goes on, but the tragedy is that this life is built on a foundation of profound and deepening inequality, a city whose sacredness can't sanctify the lives of all its inhabitants equally. It is a beautiful, broken heart, and its irregular pulse beats with the fear of what comes next. Leaving Jerusalem, the journey to Bethlehem is just a few miles, but it's a journey between worlds. You don't just drive, you cross a checkpoint, you pass through the wall. The wall is immense, a towering concrete serpent snaking across the landscape, covered in graffiti that has become a form of protest. It's a physical manifestation of the separation, a stark grey reminder that this land, so intimately connected by history, is being deliberately pulled apart. Once you're through, you are in the Palestinian West Bank. The atmosphere changes instantly. The infrastructure is different. The license plates are different. The sense of possibility feels different. Bethlehem itself centers around Manger Square and the Church of the Nativity, one of the oldest continuously operating churches in the world. Tradition holds this is the very spot where Jesus was born. A 14-pointed silver star marks the spot, polished by the hands of millions. It's a place of immense spiritual gravity, a focal point for the hopes of a quarter of the world's population. But as you emerge from the quiet sanctity of the church, you can't escape the reality of 2025. The tourism that is the lifeblood of this city has been decimated by the conflict. Shopkeepers stand in empty doorways, their shelves of olive wood carvings gathering dust. They speak of siege-like conditions, the difficulty of movement, the constant fear of raids and settler violence that have become endemic across the West Bank. Since the war escalated, life here has been strangled. The story of the West Bank is a story of walls, both visible and invisible. There is the literal concrete barrier, but there are also the walls of bureaucracy, the permits required for Palestinians to travel, the separate legal systems for Palestinians and Israeli settlers on the same land, and the economic walls that stifle opportunity. We travel further, to Ramallah, the de facto administrative capital of the Palestinian Authority. It's a bustling, modern city that defies stereotypes, with cafes and a youthful energy. But here too, the conflict is a constant presence. Young people speak of a future that feels foreclosed. They see the news from Gaza, where a war has claimed over 70,000 Palestinian lives. They see the UN reports, the findings of famine and genocide, and feel abandoned by the world. The interconnected regional experience sold by tour companies feels like a cruel joke when one part of that connection is a military occupation. The ability for a tourist to travel seamlessly from an Israeli settlement to a Palestinian city is a privilege of a passport, a privilege not extended to the people who have lived here for generations. The wonder of Bethlehem is the resilience of its people, but the horror is the ever-present reality of the walls, closing in day by day. From the tense hills of the West Bank, we drive south and east into the silent expanse of the Judean desert. The landscape transforms into a dramatic tapestry of barren hills and deep canyons. The air grows warmer, drier, and then you see it, Masada. Rising from the desert floor like a giant flat-topped monolith, Masada is a fortress of immense symbolic power. It's a story of defiance etched in rock. You can take a cable car, but to truly feel it, you have to walk the snake path, a steep trail that winds up the mountain. With every step, as the sun beats down, you feel the isolation and determination of its last defenders. At the top, the ruins are extensive, palaces built by King Herod, storehouses, cisterns, a synagogue. But the story that echoes loudest is that of the Jewish zealots who, in 73 CE, made their last stand against the Roman army. According to the historian Josephus Flavius, rather than face capture and enslavement, 960 men, women, and children chose mass suicide. It's a powerful, gut-wrenching narrative of freedom or death, a story that became a foundational myth of modern Israel, encapsulated in the phrase, "Masada shall not fall again." It speaks to a national ethos of resilience, a determination to never again be powerless. And standing here, in December 2025, it's impossible not to hear other echoes in this story. The theme of a people besieged, of a desperate last stand, of survival against all odds. But today, that narrative is being enacted with a terrifying reversal of roles just 60 miles away. As I stand on this mountain, looking out over the desert, I think of Gaza. I think of the UN reports describing conditions of life calculated to bring about physical destruction. I think of mothers watching their children starve. The story of Masada is about choosing death over subjugation. The story of Gaza, as documented by international bodies, is about a population being subjected to death. That contrast hits you hard. The desert is a place of clarity, but here it offers none. It only reflects the harshness of human history and how easily the roles of victim and perpetrator can blur across generations. From Masada, the road spirals down to the lowest point on Earth, the Dead Sea. The air becomes thick and heavy. The sea itself is otherworldly, an impossibly blue expanse fringed with crystalline salt. Floating in the Dead Sea is as strange as advertised. You lean back, and the hypersaline water lifts you effortlessly. You're weightless, suspended. Nothing can live in this water. It is sterile, lifeless. It's a geological marvel. But today, floating in this Dead Sea, the silence doesn't feel peaceful. It feels funereal. I think of the more than 70,000 dead in Gaza. I think of the UN Secretary-General calling the famine a failure of humanity itself. The salt stings the smallest cut, a sharp reminder of the world's wounds. The buoyancy feels obscene in a world so weighed down by death. This natural wonder, a place usually for healing, now feels like a vast, salty graveyard. The wonder is the geology, the chemistry, the spectacle of nature. The horror is our capacity to create conditions so deadly that this lifeless sea feels like a fitting metaphor for the state of our shared humanity. Our journey continues south, deeper into the Negev desert. This region, over half of Israel's landmass, shatters any stereotype of a sandy wasteland. It's a rocky, dramatic landscape of canyons and craters. We visit Ein Avdat National Park, where a spring has carved a stunning canyon, creating a lush green world of trees and waterfalls that feels like a mirage. We drive to Mitzpe Ramon, a town on the edge of the Maktesh Ramon, the world's largest erosion crater. It's a breathtaking panorama, more like Mars than Earth. The Negev is also a story of human ingenuity. It's the story of the kibbutzim, the collective communities that worked to make the desert bloom, developing innovative agricultural techniques. It's a powerful narrative of national pride, of transforming a hostile environment through science and will. This too is presented as a wonder of Israel. We continue to Timna Park, a place where geology and archaeology intertwine. Stunning red sandstone formations like Solomon's Pillars stand beside some of the world's oldest copper mines. But even here, the present intrudes. News reports detail the expansion of Israeli ground operations into Rafah, a city once called a safe zone. The stated goal is to pressure Hamas, but the price is paid by civilians. The death toll continues to rise daily, even with a fragile ceasefire in place since October. The Negev can feel empty, but today it feels filled with the ghosts of what's happening just beyond the horizon. Its stark beauty feels accusatory. Its silence amplifies the unheard screams from Gaza. The wonder of this desert, its geology, its history, its transformation, cannot be separated from the horror of the famine and what the UN has called genocide happening in its shadow. The bloom in one desert is irrigated by the blood and tears of another. This has been a difficult journey. It isn't the one I set out to make. If you're still watching, thank you for staying, for being willing to look at the painful and uncomfortable. The conversation around Israel and Palestine is so often reduced to shouting matches, to entrenched positions where no one listens. My hope is not to provide answers, but to share what it feels like to be here, in this specific terrible moment, and to hold the wonders and the horrors in the same frame. It's the only honest way to see this place right now. The algorithms on platforms like this aren't designed for nuance. They're designed for engagement. But if this journey meant anything to you, if it made you think or feel, then I ask you to engage thoughtfully. Leave a comment, not with hate or slogans, but with your reflections. What did you feel watching this? What questions does it raise? I'll do my best to read as many as I can, because it's in real human conversation that understanding begins. And if you believe in the importance of bearing witness, of journalism that confronts difficult truths, please subscribe. There are more stories to tell, from here and from other complex places around the world. By subscribing, you support a commitment to going beyond the headlines. Thank you. How do you end a journey through a land of such profound contradictions? How do you wrap up a story that is so violently unresolved? There is no neat summary, no tidy moral. There is only the disquieting reality. I came here looking for an epic story, and I found one. But it's not a story of simple heroism or ancient glory. It's a tragedy. It is the tragedy of the Palestinian people, who, according to the world's highest legal and humanitarian bodies, are facing genocide. It is the tragedy of the Israeli people, whose state's understandable pursuit of security has led it to commit acts that will stain its history forever. The wonders are real. The faith in Jerusalem is real. The resilience in Bethlehem is real. The breathtaking beauty of the desert is real. But these wonders don't exist in a vacuum. They exist alongside checkpoints, walls, military occupation, and UN reports that use the words famine and genocide. To travel here in December 2025 is not to be an adventurer. It is to be a witness to the beauty, yes, but also to the erasure, to the history, but also to the crime. The famous line about this land is that the story is still being written. That has never been truer or more terrifying. Today, Israeli forces killed a journalist in southern Gaza and other Palestinians in the West Bank. Settlers continue to attack Palestinian property. The death toll rises. A fragile, often violated ceasefire holds, but mediators warn it is threatened by every new incident. The story being written today is written in blood and tears. It's written in the rubble of Gaza City and the camps of Rafah. It is written in the halls of the United Nations, in reports the world seems unable or unwilling to act upon. Leaving this land, I'm not filled with the uplifting discovery I'd hoped for. I'm filled with a profound sorrow and a burning sense of injustice. The greatest wonder of Israel and Palestine isn't in the ancient stones or dramatic landscapes. The greatest wonder and the greatest tragedy is in the shared humanity that has been so systematically denied. The only call to action that feels meaningful now is not to visit, but to listen. To listen to the voices being silenced and to refuse to look away.